Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about Lesson 4, Second Declension. In the second declension, there are two groups of nouns. There's a masculine group and a neuter group. If you remember our first declension nouns, we only had one set of endings. For first declension, almost all of the nouns were feminine. There were a few exceptions, notably the three male professions that first emerged in society. Nauta, Agricola, and Poeta are all masculine nouns, but all of the rest of the first declension are feminine. Setting up our standard declension chart: nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative, singular, and plural. Those first declension endings look like this: A, AE, AE, AM, long A, AE, aurum, is, as, is. A couple things to note about the first declension. It's dominated by the vowel A. We see the genitive and dative singular group up with the nominative plural to all have the same ending. We also see accusative singular ends in an M, accusative plural an S. We see is is the same for dative and ablative plural. And our genitive plural is aurum. I point all those out for similarities with the masculine ending second declension that we're about to encounter. If you go in our pair deck on slide, I think it's slide 4, you will also find these endings. I'll see if I can get the pair deck to come up while I'm also talking to you. So now we look at the second declension. We have a group of second declension that are masculine and a group that are neuter. There is a small subsection of feminine words, but they're rarely encountered. They are usually place names, gems, and plants, and they're just not common vocabulary, but we will just note that they do exist. We'll set up our chart: nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative, with a singular and a plural. And yes, those endings are on slide 4. So if you want to be on slide 4 in the pair deck, you can see the same endings that I'm talking about right now. Our nominative endings are US or ER. Now remember, we don't form our nominative. It's given to us in our vocabulary when we memorize the word. Likewise, we memorize the genitive. The genitive gives us the base that we use to decline and form the rest of the words. So this is an example of a second declension masculine noun: amicus, amici. The us is one of the nominative forms. We don't have to do anything there. We don't add an us or an It's already complete. The genitive, we cut off that I to form our base. And that's what we will add all the rest of the endings to. So us or and there's one that even has kind of morphed into an IR. Again, doesn't matter because we memorized that one. We only form the rest off of the genitive. So us, o, o, aurum, is, os, is. Now, it's easier to remember something if we're able to connect it to something that we already know. For that reason, it can help us to point out patterns of similarity and difference. So as I look at these endings, what are the similarities? Well, my genitive singular and nominative plural are the same, like in the first declension. Now, however, my dative singular goes with my ablative singular. Both are a long O. My accusative singular still likes to end in that M. My genitive plural, instead of aurum, is aurum. We still have the same ending for dative and ablative plural, is. Accusative plural has gone from os to os. So the vowels that were A's in that first declension, we now see are dominated by U's, I's, and O's in the second declension. We want to practice chanting these words, endings rather. Us, e, o, e, aurum, is, os, is. After you get done your forms notes, in the syntax, it goes over genitive possession. We have already taken that note, but it is part of this lesson. On slide 8, you will see links to helper files. There's one with quizzes that practices your first and second declension endings. There, you can use a set of flashcards to go over them after you have gone through it at least once. There's also a Quizlet for Lesson 4 vocabulary and a Gimlet with most of the Unit 1 vocabulary. Slide 9, we start practicing declining. So we've looked at an us. We're going to look at a couple example nouns because there are some patterns to the base that I want to make sure to call out to you. So first, I will set up our declension chart. So this time I put singular and then plural because I'm going to decline a few nouns. So amicus, amici, amico, amicum, amico, amici, amicorum, amicis, amicos, amicis. Now, I did not do the standard translations like we did with the first declension. The reason is that those are still the same. You can still refer back to that first declension chart for your standard translations for each of the cases. If we go through it here together, amicus, friend, in the nominative is just the noun, friend. Amici genitive is of the friend or friend apostrophe s. Amico is to or for the friend. Accusative, amicum, is just the noun, friend. Ablative amico is by, with, or from the friend. Now we go to plural. Amici, the friends, just the noun, plural. Amicorum genitive, of the friends, or friends s apostrophe. Amicis dative, plural, to or for the friends. Amicos accusative, plural, the friends. And amicis ablative, plural, by, with, or from the friends. Now we're going to look at a couple other nouns. Our book and in our notes, we have another US noun, filius. And I'm just going to point out the interesting parts for right now because I'm going to write out two other nouns. But filius, see how it has that I there? When we go to the genitive, the two I's like to combine into one. But all of the rest of the forms, even the nominative plural, like to hold on to both I's. I've seen this for the genitive in some cases as well. But if you see that fili, keep an eye out. It's a genitive singular, but know that we do hold on to that I, filio, for the rest. So now look at our two example ER nouns, puer, pueri, meaning boy, and ager, agri, meaning field. You'll recognize ager is similar to agricola, meaning farmer, which makes sense because farmers live on fields. And cola is a word for settler or citizen, more like settler though, colonist maybe. So the colonist of the field, the farmer. So let's look at puer first. Puer, pueri, puero, puerum, puero, pueri, puerorum, pueris, pueros, pueris. The boy is our example noun showing an ER noun that holds on to that E. We might say that the little boy holds on to the E and keeps it in the base. But ager, agri drops that E, and that maintains throughout the base, throughout the rest of the declension. Ager, agri, agro, agrum, agro, agri, agrorum, agris, agros, agris. Remember that genitive tells us what's going to happen, that filius is an exception. All of the rest of our nouns, that genitive should be our signal for how to proceed. That is a pretty good summary of second declension. In our work this week, we will, for next week, we'll be going over the grammar exercises, which are slides 13 to 30 in the Pear Deck, and then the reading, the probably do over break. I have posted a helper file in the announcements for lesson 4B that covers 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. I did not post one for A. If you find that you have any questions or would like a helper file, just let me know and I'll see what I can get done. Hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.